Year's Eve with the defending national champion Ohio State Buckeyes taking on the Miami Hurricanes. Buckeyes ranked first or second nationally in 9 different defensive categories. The Hurricanes D, not too shabby either, thanks in part to defensive ends Ruben Bain Jr. and Akeem Messidor, explains their coach, Mario Cristobal.
I think the fact that they're really good at playing the run has really allowed them to become really good pass rushers because they've afforded us the opportunity to put teams in difficult down and distance situations. But I also think that, when you have a couple guys that can play at a really high level, they each attract attention. And I think we're complemented by some really good interior guys.
Cotton Bowl coverage, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio and ESPN. Patriots defensive tackle Christian Barmore facing a misdemeanor charge of assault and battery on an ex-girlfriend stemming from an alleged incident in August. This, the day after Patriots receiver Stephon Diggs was found to be facing a felony charge of strangulation and misdemeanor charge of assault from an alleged incident involving his private chef 3 weeks ago. No change to playing status this time for either player. Both incidents under review of the NFL's personal conduct policy.
Hey, it's Courtney Cronin. Coming up on Thursday on Unsportsmanlike. Either the Carolina Panthers or Tampa Bay Buccaneers will make the playoffs, but who's actually capable of making a run through the NFC? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Tim, you noted what we are setting out to do here as an assignment is unpack the death of a sports town of Oakland, California. And I think that for a lot of people, Oakland over the years has become sort of a signal of what can go wrong. But at the most base level, how did Oakland come to be a sports town to begin with?
Well, as a professional sports town, Clinton, let's start with a building. Let's start with the Oakland Coliseum. This entire saga could be told through the point of view of this massive concrete on the side of Interstate 880 in East Oakland. It's kind of like if walls could talk, right? What would those walls in that ballpark tell us? And the irony is that the current terrible state of that ballpark is often used by owners and leagues as a big reason why 2 of those teams either have left or are leaving. But that building, weirdly, is the main reason that those teams came to Oakland in the first place. It was built to lure sports franchises, and it definitely worked. I mean, the Raiders were first in 1960. They were a founding member of the AFL. And, the idea of the AFL was kind of like, airlines that fly into regional airports, right? You don't fly into San Francisco, you fly into Oakland. So that the AFL knew that they couldn't compete head to head in cities that had NFL teams. So they went to sort of satellite cities. Oakland was that team to counter the 49ers. But at that time, the Bay Area was booming. This city was untapped potential, so it made sense. The A's were next. It's kind of amazing that they stayed in Oakland as long as they have, because for the better part of that franchise's history, they have either threatened to relocate or claimed they were going to relocate or talked about going somewhere else just from the start almost. And
I think, quick sidebar, people don't realize that franchise is the most moved in the history of the major leagues.
Yes, and and the crazy thing is it's all been for different reasons, and it's all been done by different people. But they came to Oakland, the A's did, in 1968, 10 years after the Dodgers and the Giants broke the West Coast barrier by moving to Los Angeles and San Francisco. And, they came to Oakland the same reason that the Raiders did. And this booming city with this big old stadium that had no baseball team in it.
Everybody knows that look of the Raiders playing football on a baseball diamond, but there's also the Warriors, who clearly did not play in the Coliseum, but they have their own specific history.
They do, Clinton, and it is just intrinsically tied to those other teams, because the Oakland Coliseum Arena, as it was known, opened in 1966 on the same grounds as the Oakland Coliseum ballpark. But, it was this new modern facility that just completely outshined the Cow Palace, which is where the Warriors were playing in San Francisco. And in 1971, the Warriors moved to the Coliseum Arena, now known as Oracle Arena, and they became the Golden State Warriors. So it's worth noting that we're talking about a broad scope here. We're talking about 1960 to 2024. So it's 64 years of sports history in this town. And for about 35 of them, all three teams were playing in the same complex, sharing a parking lot. And for 52 of those years, there were at least two teams in the same complex, the Coliseum complex, which if you're a media member, you walk in through the same gate to get to both places. There were times when you could go to an A's game in the afternoon and a Warriors game at night and never go outside the complex. It was like the most modern complex, perhaps in sports. And I think, as you'll see, this story is as much the story of those two buildings, that Coliseum complex, as it is the story of any of those teams.
We got NFL stadiums being named after credit unions these days, and a place called the Cow Palace once existed. We used to be a proper country, Tim. Anyway, so
it did. And Wilt Chamberlain roamed that Cow Palace, Clinton.
Come on, where it happened. Anyway, Oakland has a place, if you haven't spent any time there or don't know anybody from there, in itself as just a municipality is worth investigating in terms of what we know about it. What did teams find so appealing about the location as well as the facilities?
Are you ready for another ironic point here, Clinton?
I am.
There was a time when multi-purpose stadiums were actually state-of-the-art. That's what people wanted. Team owners, this whole process was so simple for them. You'd have a city build you a big concrete circle, put a football team and a baseball team inside it, and just go about counting your money. You know, we had Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, the Vet in Philadelphia, Fulton County in Atlanta. And compared with those, the Coliseum was a marvel for a number of reasons. One, it was a great location, and it still is a great location. It's right off the highway. It's got a BART station on site. It's right near the airport. It's an economically vibrant region. And as an added plus, for a long time, there were iconic ice plant growing behind the outfield bleachers and unobstructed views of the beautiful Oakland Hills. And, you know, beyond that, the city and the county, which owned that property together, half each, they provided all kinds of support for these teams. So the owners had a government on their side, and they had this fan market that, you know, I like to say that Oakland is like a Smoky Jazz Club and San Francisco is like the Symphony Hall. And the people in Oakland, they didn't want to go to the Symphony. They wanted to hang out with, you know, with people that rooted for the A's and the Warriors and the Raiders and tailgated in the endless parking lot of the Coliseum. And, you know, they embraced this. And the other practical part of this is that if you have a ballpark that holds two different teams, you know, you save money. You don't have to build a football stadium separately. You have this built-in sort of cost savings with two teams sharing this complex.
Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati also on that list of places that, well, that was what sports looked like in the 70s and 80s to a lot of people. But all of that infrastructural stuff is great. But if there's no rings, if there's no trophies, it doesn't really matter. Can you walk us through some of the higher points, achievement-wise, of Oakland pro sports history, sir?
Clinton, I give you 1974. Let's start there. The A's win the third of their 3 straight World Series championships.
Rollie Fingers wraps it up, and the Oakland Coliseum explodes into ecstasy as the Oakland A's capture their 3rd successive World Championship.
The Raiders go 12-2. They have this incredible win against the Dolphins in a divisional playoff with Clarence Davis and the Sea of Hands touchdown.
Body throws. It is. He caught it.
They lose to the hated Steelers in the AFC Championship game, but that just fuels them for down the line. And the Warriors in 74, 75, they win their first title in the Bay Area.
The ball game is over. The ball game is over. And our Golden State Warriors are champions of the world. They are the unbelievable champions.
They've got Rick Barry. They've got Al Attles, who was the first African-American coach after Bill Russell, who was a player coach, to win a title. So, you know, Oakland in 1974, it was the absolute center of the sports universe. Clinton, I want to just add something here that Oakland has this reputation, well-deserved reputation as this city of rebellion. You know, they didn't take any garbage in Oakland. You know, they were people that knew what they wanted. It's a very diverse community of diverse interests and diverse people that really all seem to get along, and sports brought them together. And there were several sort of eras where the A's were kind of a glue there. Obviously that 72, 73, 74 string of World Series championships with your man Vida Blue. Raleigh Fingers and Catfish Hunter, and to top it all off, like Reggie Jackson. You know, they had this swagger, and they sometimes fought in the dugout, and they really set the tone for A's baseball. They had the white cleats, you know, and the white pants, and they did it with style, you know, and they were really embraced by the city. Then we fast forward a little bit to the Bash Brothers in the late 80s, early 90s.
Here's a drive to the right center field. That is really hit. It's well back, and there is home run number 100 for Mark McGwire.
Mark McGwire, Jose Canseco, Dave Stewart. You know, there were incredible stars on that team. And then you had Oakland's own Rickey Henderson.
And Rickey goes, a pitch taken. He's going to have it. He does. Rickey Henderson, no contest, steals third base, jerks the bag from its moorings, and holds it aloft, representing number 939.
I think he's a top 10 all-time baseball player. And Rickey was homegrown, and Rickey loved Oakland, and those teams went to the World Series 3 straight years and were favored each time, but only won one of them in 1989.
That one is carrying, and back goes Mitchell, and it's a launching pad again tonight. It's a ground ball to the right side, speared by Phillips, flips to Eckersley. Yes, he's there in time, and the A's are the world champions.
You also had sort of the Moneyball era, the early 2000s, where, you know, Billy Beane was putting together these teams out of, you know, beaks and claws that would end up, you know, winning 95 to 100 games and always losing in the playoffs. As Billy's famous line, "My doesn't work in the playoffs," came up about the third or fourth time that team failed. But there were good years, there were bad years, but these fans were loyal. They were loyal to all those teams. And, you know, for the purposes of our discussion right now, they were loyal to the A's. When that team won, people showed up.
The Dubs era obviously was sort of the last dominance that we saw in the Bay Area of pro sports teams. It's hard to describe what that was like, not just for people from Oakland, but for everybody in the Bay. They were, I still say that is the best basketball team I ever saw with my eyeballs.
Yeah, I think the word that makes it is is team.
Curry with a hook pass to Thompson. They work it around.
That first iteration of the Splash Brothers, they were so rhythmic and graceful and shared the ball. The Warriors had come out of some really bad years, you know. That was sort of an organically grown team, right? And they go on to win 3 titles in Oakland.
There's a new dynasty in the NBA. The Golden State Warriors champions once again, back-to-back titles, 3 in 4 years, and the latest with a sweep.
They just had that city in the palm of its hand. Oakland, I think above all, if you wanted to categorize it as a sports town, you'd first and foremost say it's a basketball town, and it's a very smart basketball town. That arena was filled with people that didn't look like the arena across the bay does now. You know, people could afford tickets, and people that just were that loved basketball more than they loved, you know, taking selfies of themselves next to the concession stands. I mean, these people, they always cheered at the right time. They always booed at the right time. You know, it was a party every night.
Curry again.
They were just waiting for a team like that. It's hard to overstate how much of a cultural phenomenon that team was in Oakland. The number of jerseys people wore and T-shirts and hats. I mean, it dwarfed anything that I can even remember in the Bay Area, and I've lived here practically my whole life.
Tim, you've been there all of your life for the most part. When you look back at the timeline that brings us to present day, when did you first start to think there might be concerns about this place in terms of teams that want to stay here and whether or not they'll be able to?
Well, Clinton, I think it's always been sort of a problem of perception. And I think the first person that sort of threw that perception out there and had it gain traction was Al Davis.
If there's anything we've ever done that I'm particularly proud of, I would have to say that the perpetuation of the greatness of the Raiders, to take a professional football team and give it a distinct characteristic that's different from all others.
Al Davis was sort of a throwback, right? I mean, he's an owner that his business was not oil or hardware or pharmaceuticals. His business was football. He owned a football team, and that's all he did after he coached. And he had this, everyone knows the just win, baby mantra.
Just win, baby.
Well, it permeated his entire being. Winning football games was all that mattered to him, except for the part about making money in order to be in a position to win more football games. He never lost sight of that. And as kind of a side point, I would contend that no owner and no team ever embodied the ethos of its community the way Al Davis and the Raiders did in Oakland. I just feel like he was the ultimate football rebel in this ultimate crucible of rebellion. And he was revered for that. Around the country, he might have been hated. In Oakland, he was just loved. But he grew restless in Oakland. He felt like there was more out there somewhere else. He wanted, in the late 70s, he started talking about upgrading the Coliseum and about needing this more money through suites, which was a relatively new concept. I think the first time that luxury boxes were introduced was at the Houston Astrodome, in the mid 60s. So we're just 15 or 20 years into the life of this Coliseum, and he's already sort of calling it outdated. He wanted amenities. He wanted more control. So, the city and the county, not to get too far into the weeds, but they had another tenant. We've talked about this being a multi-purpose facility. Right. Well, they had the A's for 81 dates a year and the Raiders for roughly 10. So obviously the tie was going to go to the A's. They were going to make concessions for them and not ruin a baseball stadium for Al Davis. So, to get to the point, they eventually couldn't agree, and so Al Davis just packed up and left.
Well, I needed a bigger venue. I knew and I foresaw that suites were going to be a big thing and club seats. And they promised me in L.A. at the Coliseum that they would build those for me.
It's hard to see that as a huge upgrade from the Oakland Coliseum, but the fans got their first taste of this torture, right? This long, drawn-out process that ended up with them losing a team, because Davis initially tried to move in 1980, and then he spent 2 years fighting the NFL, and then he finally got the okay to leave.
To be real honest, the league tried to tell me you're not going. And the minute they said you're not going, I said I am going. And we got into a tug of war, and I wasn't sure who was going to give first. But the courts ruled that I could move.
I think it's worth noting that the reason Al Davis had any leverage at all, considering the math of those home dates, is because the Raiders were super popular. He's the guy that hired John Madden. It wasn't like Al Davis was some crazy guy. He legitimately was a visionary. So I can understand how that push and pull would have been pretty taxing on the community overall.
Yeah, definitely. And, again, I want to underscore something else here, is that the long-term impact of Al Davis's decision to move the Raiders to L.A. I mean, the way he went about it, and the way he painted local government as not only uncooperative, but unwilling to give the owners what they wanted. He was the first person to do that. And he proved to be not the last one to do that. It was precedent setting. And he managed to create a perception that other owners were more than happy to promote. And because Davis actually left and Oakland lost the Raiders, initially for just 13 years, it really kind of created and cemented this unfair idea that Oakland is a bad place for big time sports.
You know, sliding doors moments, splits in the multiverse moments, whatever you want to call them, they abound here. There's so many stops along the way where a decision maker or a group of decision makers were considering one option, but ended up going with a different option. And in retrospect, almost every time that decision made it harder and harder for the teams and the city to maintain their partnership. Can you explain how that played out?
Yeah, I can. I think, you know, it's sort of easy to see it in retrospect, right? We look back and see, okay, well, this begat that. And I think that, you know, the fact that, you know, Al Davis couldn't get everything he wanted in Los Angeles either, right? So in 1995, he's back in negotiations with Oakland. There was a council member, famous Oakland City Council member named Ignacio de la Fuente, who went to bat for Al Davis and essentially helped push through this plan that would bring the team back, and included building what is now known as Mount Davis, which is a monstrous third deck in the outfield of the baseball stadium that ran parallel to the football stadium. So these were good football seats and impossible baseball seats. And it changed the whole dynamic of the Coliseum.
Are you ready to make a difference for the environment while helping the visually impaired at the same time? Then donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind today by calling 1-800-983-6530. Every donated vehicle will either be properly recycled in an eco-friendly manner or given a new life through reuse. Donating your vehicle is easy. Simply call 1-800-983-6530 and Heritage for the Blind will do the rest. They'll even arrange for your vehicle to be picked up at no cost to you. And for a limited time, when you donate your car, you'll receive a $200 restaurant voucher and a 2-night, 3-day hotel stay at one of 50 locations. Call 1-800-983-6530 right now to schedule your vehicle donation and make a positive impact on the environment while helping others. Heritage for the Blind, where every car donation counts and every person makes a difference. Call 1-800-983-6530 now. This advertisement is paid for by Heritage for the Blind.
ESPN Radio 93.5. Hey, how's it going? I'm Curtis Allen from The Drive. Happy New Year to you. Heading out for New Year's Eve tonight, maybe doing some extra celebrating given the Illini's big bowl win yesterday. Well, make the smart choice. Call Tapman's Towing for a free, safe ride home tonight if you need one. Don't risk it. One call does it all. Tapman's Towing, 217-328-2424. That's 217-328-2424. Just a friendly tip from ESPN 93.5, The Drive, and Tapman's Towing.
Hi, I'm Diane Ducey, and the 2026 Muhammad Polar Plunge has their peer-to-peer fundraiser to benefit Special Olympic athletes in Region I. With free year-round sports trainings, competitions, health programs, and athlete leadership opportunities, you might want to take note now to be involved with us at Lake of the Woods in Muhammad, Saturday, February 21st for the Muhammad Polar Plunge, kicking off at noon. Registration is at 10 a.m. and goes to 11:45. And afterwards, my son Aiden, as a Special Olympic athlete, loves to help hand out the plungers to all those who reach their fundraising goals. Plus, there's a costume contest and the Cool School Challenge, plus the College Cup is handed out. Registration for plungers is open now at support.soill.org/Plunge Muhammad. Support Special Olympic athletes in Region I with Stevie J Broadcasting. JT Barnhart, president of OSF Healthcare.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I appreciate it. One last thing, I'll just say, we hope you don't ever need an emergency room, but if you do get hurt and you are injured, RER, I think, is top notch. And Dr. Bloomstrand in Urbana, the program that he runs, our nursing care, we're going to get you in quick, going to get you taken care of, get you home, and just always love to promote the service in the emergency room.
So it's on Park Street. For more information, osfhealthcare.org. JT Barnhart, have a good day.
Thank you.
You're great, Tim. You're great to have on. We love what you do. You're very talented as a manager taking care of Galfrix and dedicated diesel, but I'm impressed how much energy you have for all that.
We're just honored to be able to wear the GFT logo and do that, and the people at Dedicated Diesel do a great job. Everybody needs to get over there and get those awesome, like new used mowers bought up and get out of there so we have room for some new ones. 217-328-0562, give you a great deal and get those things going.
And where's that located?
But that's at 1313 Triumph Drive in Urbana. We've got a wonderful crew, and at the end of the year here, I just want to thank all of our drivers, customers, and employees. We have the best guy to work for in Galfrix. You all and your families have a Happy New Year, and I'll talk to you next year.
Thank you, Tim. Tim Onstop, Pitmaster Extraordinaire, Galfrix Trucking, and Dedicated Diesel.
On the first Christmas, baby Jesus was born in a stable because God loves each of us. This Christmas, how can we show God we love Him too? Jesus said we can show our love for God by loving our neighbor. Let's make God happy this Christmas.
This is Jim Manley. Throughout this year that's been tough for so many, Empty Tomb Inc. has worked with church people to show their love for God through practical works done in Jesus' name. Clothes, food, furniture, and financial help are shared at our local neighbors' points of need. In addition, Research and Mission Match encourage churches to help our neighbors globally too. Your gift to Empty Tomb now will help people in our local area at their points of need all through the new year. Please send your check to Empty Tomb in Champaign, Illinois, or go to emptytomb.org to donate. Thank you.
Merry Christmas, baby Jesus.
And Merry Christmas to you too.
Joy.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. 25 days after playing its last game, the Big Ten championship game, defending national champ Ohio State returns to the field to face off against Miami in the college football playoff quarterfinals tonight. The Buckeyes can't wait for the long layoff to finally end, says Coach Ryan Day.
We're tired of practicing against each other. I mean, they're barking at each other in practice, almost getting like the preseason again. So that's a good sign. That means we're ready to go hit somebody else. These guys are highly, highly motivated, and they know that sometimes the most difficult game is the first one in the playoff. And so that's been our focus is starting really fast in this game and playing for 60 minutes.
Ohio State, Miami in the Cotton Bowl, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio and ESPN. One day after it was reported Patriots receiver Stephon Diggs is facing a felony charge of strangulation and misdemeanor charge of assault from an alleged incident involving his private chef, there's news that New England defensive tackle Christian Barmore is facing a misdemeanor charge of assault and battery on an ex-girlfriend stemming from an alleged incident in August. No change to the playing status for either player, as both incidents are under review of the NFL's personal conduct policy.
Hey, it's Courtney Cronin. Coming up on Thursday on Unsportsmanlike. As we head into the new year, we'll tell you what our boldest predictions are for 2026. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
You know, I mentioned earlier about what this ballpark looked like before, and there were the ice plants I mentioned and the views of the hills, but let's put a little bit finer point on it. I want you to try and picture what this looked like. So you would come out of this vast parking lot, you'd walk through the gates to the stadium into this massive concrete building. But what would play out before you was, first of all, the greenest of grasses, right? The contrast with all this gray concrete and this green grass that was always just meticulously maintained, even before that became the norm in Major League Baseball. But you'd have that, and then you'd look out towards center field and you'd see this semicircle essentially of ice plant and purple and red and yellow flowers popping out. And then beyond that, you would look out and you would see the purple hills of Oakland in the background. you had this ballpark situated in such a place that it was really something. It was one of the better views and venues in major professional sports at that time, before there were waterfront ballparks and all that. This was a great place to watch a game. And then Mount Davis was built, and that view was completely obstructed, completely lost. And this was all happening. This was being built while the A's were actually playing. And so they were like actively destroying a baseball park while there was a game being played, day after day. Remember, this was one of the sticking points for 13, 15, almost 2 decades earlier, when the city and the county let the Raiders leave. That there was always this discussion about capacity and how they would get it, but they didn't want to destroy the ambiance for baseball. A decade later, they caved. The city caved into Al Davis, and they lost a baseball stadium that was always comfortable and welcoming. Al Davis got his luxury suites, he got bigger capacity, but he destroyed the park in the process. But Clinton, as bad as that was, the bigger problem was the financial aspect of this. The city and the county, which again each owned half of this property, they took out giant loans to pay for the construction of this. I mean, we're talking $350 million when it was all said and done. And they were doing that because they believed the projections that they got from Al Davis and the Raiders that said all these new seats would bring in big increase in revenue, and for both the team, of course, and for the city. But, a key part of this was something that was relatively new at the time, which was personal seat licenses or PSLs. This was like a new sales strategy teams started using in the 90s. And what it meant was that you had to essentially put money up, as a lot of money, as much as $4,000 per season, just for the right to be a season ticket holder. So that was this newfangled way that these teams decided that they would be able to raise money and get a lot of it up front. But the problem is that only works if everyone buys in. It's a supply and demand, right? So if you create this 75,000 seat stadium and you can only sell 40,000 seat licenses, then you've got 35,000 seats that are going at single game prices every week. Who's going to buy that personal seat license after that first year when they know that they don't have to? They can go to every game without doing that. And you've still got these fans who are jaded. This team had left once before, so it was doubly hard to convince these people to fork over this much money up front for a product that they weren't sure was committed to them.
So quickly, just to recap, the ambiance of the stadium has been ruined. And in the process of ruining that ambiance, the city and county have put themselves in a huge financial hole. Knowing that, Tim, it's not really hard to imagine how this all goes south.
No, that's absolutely right, Clinton. And the thing we have to remember is that local government, they didn't have to do any of this in the first place. They signed up willingly into this project. And I think they did it because they felt it was their one chance to revise history and return Oakland to what they felt was its rightful place as the home of 3 major professional sports franchises. But, when they signed on, they did it because they believed what Al Davis and the Raiders were telling them about this windfall that was going to fall from the sky, literally from Mount Davis. And I would imagine in retrospect that many of them wish they'd been a little more skeptical and done a little bit more research on those projections, but they weren't and they didn't. But, let's look and take stock of what this means for what would come next. The city and county had to pay $20 million a year to retire that debt. back when they were really in bad shape, both financially and at such a loss with this stadium, I mean, they had to cut essential services in the city, like police and fire, like really essential stuff to make it happen. And that means that they obviously didn't have any extra money sitting around to pay for the next stadium idea that came from the next disgruntled owner down the line. So you've got the ballpark that people don't like because you've ruined it. How do you think that's going to work out when they start complaining that the ballpark is the reason people don't buy tickets and come to games? I mean, when they start saying that without a new stadium, they can't compete with other teams in the league, then what's going to happen?
The commissioner of baseball is questioning again whether the A's can stay in Oakland.
It just doesn't look like it's going to happen. I'm not positive.
It is looking more and more like the deck is stacked against the Raiders staying in Oakland.
How many times can I tell you that we're trying to stay in Oakland? How many times can I tell you that?
We want him to sell the team to a local owner that's going to invest in the community and in the team.
They basically blackballed us. They issued an internal cease and desist all communication.
Oakland Police Department escorted me out of the stadium.
They basically fucked with the completely wrong group and the wrong fan base.
You promised.
I took the garbage out.
No, I'm talking about all the work we need to get done around here.
I know. We need a new roof and we need replacement windows.
How about a new bathroom and some overdue remodeling?
And how are we supposed to pay for all that?
My sister said she called Remodeling Loans and they were able to find her certified contractors.
That's great. But how'd she get the money to pay for all that?
Remodeling Loans offered 0 interest for 60 months. They even have payment plans with 0 down and 0 deposit.
Looks like we're getting a home makeover.
Great. Now, if I only knew someone to call for a husband makeover.
Really?
Remodeling Loans is the #1 leader in home improvement financing. Call 800-921-1403 today for a no credit check, no risk approval. Get approved today and we'll match you with the best contractors in your area. And remember, no deposit financing is now available. Call 800-921-1403. 800-921-1403.
ESPN Radio 93.5. Good afternoon. I'm Curtis Allen. Hey, this is where we do the drive, right? Right about this time of the day. Well, we are celebrating the holiday. We'll be back doing the full show on Friday, which means the new year, right? So, and we want to hear from you in the new year in a couple of days, Friday afternoon. So be safe tonight for New Year's Eve. If you've got plans, great. Getting home safely, even better. Tapman's Towing is offering a free ride home tonight so you don't have to drive. Save the number now, 217-328-2424. Tapman's Towing, getting you home safe tonight for New Year's Eve so you can hang with the drive in 2026.
With the holiday season upon us, we at Gale Frericks Trucking would like to take time out to express our appreciation and heartfelt thanks to our drivers and support staff. We take pride in making family and safety the top priorities at GFT. This is Operations Manager Donna Onstadt, inviting all Class A CDL holders in Central Indiana and Illinois to join our family so you can provide for and spend more time with your family. We offer paid holidays and vacations, home time every weekend and holiday, the industry's top pay package, safety and operations bonuses, rider program, insurance, and more. Call 765-793-7131 or email timo@gftlog.com to join the GFT family and get pay and quality home time you can count on. 765-793-7131.
So we have an amazing limited menu with some great appetizers, salads, entrees, including snow crab cakes. We've got swordfish, fillets, and it ended out with a holiday berry trifle. And it's for couples, singles, whatever you like. And then you're going to end that night with that sparkling wine or cider for the perfect toast. And then we're even throwing a little extra. Say you come in for the dinner, you can stay the night at the iHotel for a great rate of $89 before tax, night of New Year's Eve. That you're not going to get a better deal than this here at the iHotel and Houlihan.
Are there special seatings that you need to get your reservation for, Kelsey?
Yep, we're going to do different seatings. We'll do seatings at 5, 6:30, 7:30, and 9 p.m. So definitely make reservations. Call, get those booked in before we fill up. 217-819-5005. That's going to give you directly to Houlihan's to get those reservations made. All you have to say for those hotel reservations or even going online using NYE26.
Just like a great football coach, he comes up with a game plan. He plans on doing the right thing at the right time. Winter is a great time to make home improvements such as new siding, windows, gutters, garage doors, and even phantom screens. So don't get uptight, relax, and enjoy the game. Just don't drop the ball. Call Dillman Brothers and score big. 217-344-8290. You can also contact us by email on our website, DILLMANbrothers.com. Get your exterior in shape. No rookies, only pros at Dillman Brothers.
Sarah Champagne Managing Partner Ben Quattrone on why integrity is important at Sarah.
We hire the person. The person makes the deal. The person makes the department. The person makes everyone around them treat people with courtesy and respect. If you have a quality human being, you can play any position, right? We're talking about sports. They can perform in any department, and I could teach someone a job, but I can't teach them to be a good person.
Learn more at sarahchampagne.com. That's SERRA champagne.com.
Did you see Brian? He's in better shape than he was 25 years ago. How is that even possible?
Yep, I ran into him a few weeks ago and had to ask. He told me he started taking Nugenix Total T2.
The testosterone booster?
Yeah, but it's way more than that now. It also skyrockets your nitric oxide in as little as 3 hours. I started taking it right away, and I'm already seeing results.
I was wondering what you were doing. You seriously crushed me in that pickup game last week.
Yep, after 40, energy, strength, drive, it all starts going downhill. But with T2, I feel like my old self again. Stronger, leaner, and my energy is way up. My wife even noticed a difference. They're giving out complimentary bottles right now. Just send them a text.
Text CAR to 321-321 for your complimentary bottle of new Nugenix Total T2. Text now and you'll also get a free bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator. That's CAR to 321-321. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. Product not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
This is ESPN Daily. Tim Kewen, we are now kicking off part 2 of our story on the death of Oakland as a big-time sports town. Can you recap for the folks where we left off last week?
Yeah, sure, Clinton. I think last week we left off by explaining how the Raiders returned to the city in 1995 after a 13-year run in Los Angeles proved to be a fateful decision with many dominoes in its path. I think the circumstances around that return, mostly the addition of a new deck at the Coliseum, it ruined the atmosphere of that stadium. The A's were definitely not happy about this, quote, new and improved stadium. And the projected financial windfall that the Raiders promised and that the city hoped for never materialized. And it all set the stage for this decades-long drama between the Oakland teams and the city. And that drama will be the scope of our conversation today.
Mount Davis is, I believe, the term that you used, which I always found fascinating. But, you know, even though so much of this discussion is focused on the A's and the Raiders as they played in the same place, they weren't the first team to leave. That goes to the Warriors, the one that wasn't playing in that stadium. So if it wasn't complaints about the facility that pushed the Dubs out, why did they choose to make this move?
Well, as we talked about last week, the Warriors had this incredible home court advantage at Oracle Arena. I mean, most people felt it was the best in the league. When they left, they were on a run of 342 consecutive sellouts. Oof. And those weren't all good teams in those 342 games. They sold out that place. It was rocking. They called it Roracle. So you could make money in Oracle Arena and in Oakland. But in 2011, a man named Joe Lacob bought the team with a Hollywood producer named Peter Guber. Lacob was a peninsula guy, which is south of San Francisco in the wealthy suburbs that, encompass Silicon Valley. And he was not an Oakland guy. And it only took him 18 months after he bought the team to announce plans to build a new arena in San Francisco. And, this is not this iteration of the Warriors that we see now. This was 3 years before Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green won their first championship. There were other factors involved. San Francisco didn't have this kind of big arena. And so that was kind of this parallel thought in his mind was like, hey, I can build something there and it will serve this purpose for one of the most iconic cities in the world. To be honest, I think Joe Lacob underestimated the impact that moving that team, as they say, 8 miles from Oakland to San Francisco. I think that they didn't get the cultural impact of that move and what it meant to the people of Oakland. They felt that the proximity to Oakland was going to sort of allay some of those fears or some of the retribution that they would get. But they still got plenty of it.
For fans, it's officially the end of an era. The Warriors now a San Francisco fixture.
Why do they have to leave Oakland? Oakland is still very much a part of who the Warriors are and what they represent.
They lose this team, and a team that's done very well and that a lot of people have been able to rally behind. It's just kind of sad.
The fact that they have been so successful has really alleviated some of that, though. It's hard to be mad at a team that keeps winning the way they have with Steph Curry.
It's too bad, too. We could almost do a whole breakout on Oracle alone because that was such a strange confluence of events. As a team that good in that place, and that's when you decide to go. I don't know how you missed the mark on understanding culturally how you messed that up, because even from the outside, it was clear what an advantage that building gave that team, never mind what it meant to the community. But the Warriors announced in 2012 they'd leave. It took 7 years for Chase Center to get built and for that move to go through. In the meantime, the Raiders, as we noted before, Al Davis was probably the biggest reason for the construction of that grandstand. And you mentioned earlier turning the Oakland Coliseum into an albatross from what was a nice baseball facility. So in 2011, Al Davis passes away, and his son Mark takes over the team. That guy is a singular character in the least, from the haircut to the outfits to the look of where he lives. How would you describe him to people who are not in Oakland?
Well, Mark Davis was, first of all, always defined as Al Davis's son, right? And somebody told me, like, hey, what would you feel like if you were in your 50s, you'd never held a job, and yet your father dies and someone hands you $1 billion business and says, here, make it work. That was the Mark Davis. I mean, Mark Davis had, the funny haircut. He ate at P.F. Chang's in Walnut Creek every day. He drove a minivan with a personalized Raiders license plate. I mean, there's always this perception of him and his family as being, a little bit of a carpetbagger, right? Like they didn't ever have both feet, to coin a phrase or steal a phrase, rooted in Oakland. They were always looking for something better, somewhere else that could further the Raider brand. And, there's a sentiment probably with some validity to it that the NFL kind of took Mark by the hand and led him to Vegas. They did a lot to really make that move happen. They wanted Vegas. Goodell wanted Vegas. And, this was if Oakland was the problem, then Vegas turned out to be the solution.
NFL owners, of course, yesterday voted to move the Oakland Raiders out of the Bay Area and to Las Vegas. And emotions have been ranging from indifference to anger.
I could cry right now. I feel helpless. It's heartbreaking.
We're done, man. We're done. We're not going to follow you guys to Vegas. This is it. You guys did us dirty on this one, okay, because you took the money and ran. You took the money and ran when there was
So that was how two of these three teams came to leave Oakland. The fans weren't happy about it. The two ownership groups, they had a plan that was lined up. Firm commitments, financing ready to go and build new stadiums in other cities. The A's, on the other hand, that's a different story. Where would you start that tale, Tim?
Well, Clinton, I think the most compelling story of the Oakland Athletics lies far away from owner suites and negotiating tables and city council meetings. So I'd like to refocus this story where it belongs, which is in the stands, and take a look at what it was like to be an Oakland sports fan through this decade or 2 decade state of sports purgatory. And, through reporting this out, I spoke to many fans. I've known a lot of them for a while. And, there's one guy that I spent a lot of time with whose personal story really mirrors the story of the A's quest to get a new ballpark built in Oakland. And this is a man by the name of Jorge Leon. Jorge's been an A's fan as long as he can remember, and he's lived with this sense of impending doom, this cloud of relocation hanging over the A's going back to his formative years.
I wrote a paper in high school in 1998 to try and keep the A's in Oakland in 1998. So it's always been in the back of my head where, like, if the A's were always going to the playoffs, I would tell my friends or my family, like, that's good, but I'd rather them stay in Oakland.
And Jorge has kind of always had an activist streak in him, which would become a key inspiration for the path he eventually chose to walk here when it came to his fandom for his local teams.
Oaklander, for some reason, is born with these roots of activism. You look at the Black Panther movement, the Brown Berets. I mean, everything that sparks anything in the nation. In high school, I led a lot of walkouts because of the war in Iraq, and everyone says, well, why are you doing it? They don't listen to you or whatever. I tell them, like, hey, I'd rather do something than just sit on my ass and not do anything at all.
When did that propensity towards activism intersect with him actually being an A's fan?
Well, I think that, Jorge started looking at what was happening to his team and to its fans. And one aspect that I think kind of galvanized his activism came in 2005 when the A's were sold to Lou Wolf and John Fisher. And Lou Wolf was a local real estate developer, and he actually ran the team for many years as the managing partner. But John Fisher has always been the bigger stakeholder. And Fisher's money came from his family. His parents founded the Gap clothing store. So he's not that much different from Mark Davis in the way that he came about his wealth. But once Wolf and Fisher took over, that's when talk of moving kicked into higher gear. That was when Jorge sort of began to find his true calling.
The day I realized that was probably when they were trying to move to San Jose.
Spring training is only 2 weeks away, and the Oakland A's are still fighting for the right to move down to San Jose.
And now the city of San Jose is suing to allow the A's to relocate there.
The sign that I put up was Lou Wolf lied, he never tried.
So this is a sign that Jorge brought to the ballpark and was waving around in the stands for everyone to see. And the sentiment he was expressing was clear. Wolf had said all the right things about staying in Oakland when he bought the team and in the first year that he owned it, but behind the scenes, he was working to get something better somewhere else.
But then when I put Lou Wolf lied, he never tried, is when I started getting scrutinized more by security. And they made me take it down. They made the Oakland Police Department kind of escort me out of the stadium. And at that time, the city attorney put out a letter saying that you cannot use city police officers to escort fans out for expressing the freedom of speech. And I think that kind of took off from there. I was like, oh, that's how you get attention, right? That's when I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to start hanging signs until I push the button, and they're going to look bad.
Tim, let's step back for a minute before we get too much further, because the where is this team going to play question is a long and winding road. And I gathered that the frustrations of this process are what motivated Jorge to get on his soapbox, but just how many different cycles of stadium proposals and speculations has he and everyone in Oakland had to live through?
So we'll keep this to the modern era of the Lou Wolf, John Fisher ownership. First it was San Jose, which they had an actual sponsorship agreement in place for a non-existent stadium until the Giants stepped in and said, hey, hold on, that's our territorial rights. You can't have San Jose because when we agreed to stay in 1992, the commissioner's office gave us San Jose as part of our market. The next one was Fremont, which is a suburb south of Oakland, that never really gained any traction. They said they were going to move to near Lake Merritt, beautiful site on a property owned by Laney Community College. The problem was they forgot or failed to contact Laney Community College in advance to say, hey, what do you think about putting a 35,000 seat ballpark on your property? Laney College didn't want that. So that was...
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-294-0222. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-294-0222. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-294-0222. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat with Myron Metcalf.
Why are all these college coaches upset about James Najee joining the Baylor basketball program mid-season? Well, I'll tell you why. James Najee from Nigeria didn't play college basketball, but signed a professional contract overseas, and he was drafted in 2023. He was a part of the New York Knicks Karl Anthony Towns trade to Minnesota a couple years ago. That's how important he was. That's how much professional experience he had, but the NCAA still said he's cleared to play. The coaches who are upset about James Najee and what's happening in college basketball with players who have professional experience joining these ranks is because they're afraid of what's next. The NCAA is saying a G League player, a two-way player, could never compete in NCAA basketball, but who are they to even say? They've been unable to enforce any of their rules. Court cases have essentially nullified their power. So what's stopping an NBA player from saying, you know what? I want to go make some more money in college now that my career is over. That's the fear right now in college basketball. And based on the NCAA's track record, I think it's valid. In 60 seconds, I'll tell you why Indiana and Alabama are so important for the entire collegiate landscape.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-294-0222. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-294-0222. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-294-0222. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
To the people who are upset about Indiana being the team to beat, I think, in the college football playoff, get over yourself. This is exactly what you said you wanted in the new landscape, not just Alabama and Georgia and Notre Dame and the legacy programs competing for national championships. You wanted some new blood? Well, now you got it. Indiana is a great representation of what can happen in the NIL era. You don't just get to recruit off tradition and legacy anymore. You can be a team like Indiana, spend the money you have with NIL and rev share, and put together a championship-level team. That's a great thing for the sport. But it also means some new teams are going to kick in the door to this college football party. With the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Myron Metcalf.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The college football playoff quarterfinals kick off tonight with Miami and defending national champion Ohio State. Hurricanes defense coming off a dominant performance in the first round win over Texas A&M. It's something Buckeyes quarterback Julian Sayin is well aware of.
Yeah, just as a quarterback, have to be, extremely quick in your decision making, and you can't be holding on the ball forever, and putting our offensive line in stress. So just being on point as a quarterback is gonna help our offense stay on schedule.
Tonight's Sayins first CFP game, OSU and Miami in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio and ESPN. Patriots defensive tackle Christian Barmore facing a misdemeanor charge of assault and battery on an ex-girlfriend stemming from an alleged incident in August. He's not with the team today due to illness. This, a day after Patriots receiver Stephon Diggs was found to be facing a felony charge of strangulation and misdemeanor charge of assault from an alleged incident involving his private chef. No change to the playing status at this time for either player, as both incidents are under review of the NFL's personal conduct policy.
Hey, it's Courtney Cronin. Coming up on Thursday on Unsportsmanlike. Either the Carolina Panthers or Tampa Bay Buccaneers will make the playoffs, but who's actually capable of making a run through the NFC? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
This is the best of the Rich Eisen Show on ESPN Radio.
Will Smith, Los Angeles Dodgers catcher, is here on the program. It is great to see you, Will. Great to see you, man. Let's just jump into it. You're now a few weeks removed. When you look back on this World Series, what do you think of, Will?
Oh, man, there were so many good moments. But I think just as a whole, you're talking to, I was at the MLB Awards show, the golf tournament, talking to all those guys this past weekend. Everyone just kept talking about how incredible the series was. It was just back and forth. We had the 18-inning game, 7 games. That's an extra innings. It was just so back and forth, such good baseball played between, two really good teams. But yeah, I'm just happy we won it. That would have really been tough going 7 and losing it. But, yeah, that was a really good Blue Jays team, and it was just a really fun series to be a part of.
Well, I mean, there's so many questions to ask you. The first one, though, is about you. What is it like to catch 74 innings in a week and a half, Will?
I was a little worn out. Yeah, that 18-inning game, that took a lot out of me. That was a grind. I mean, coming back, having to catch the next 2 days after that was tough. We were doing everything, IVs. Just a lot of treatment, just try to keep the legs under you. But, everybody was grinding. Their guys were too. So it was just who could kind of gut it out and, stick to it and keep going.
Yeah, because, again, I was going to ask you, because obviously you're still a young man, 30 years old, but catching and being able to hit and catch in a World Series is such a challenge. And then 74 innings, man. You probably set a record. I don't know I know there was a World Series longer. I didn't look it up. I don't know if the catcher caught every single moment of that World Series. You potentially set a record, Will.
Yeah, I think so. That's what I was told and stuff and saw. But yeah, it's just crazy. It's just a lot of work throughout the year in the off season to have the strong legs and all that, and be able to not let it really affect me too much.
All right, so let's get to the moment of truth, the 7th game of this World Series. The ball is hit to Miguel Rojas. The infield is in. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is just out of your field of vision to your left. The play goes to Rojas. Walk me through, because I'm sitting at home thinking this series is over because the way that he collected it, corralled it, and threw to you, I thought was too late. What was that like from your vantage point, Will?
Yeah. I mean, you're kind of preparing before the pitch is thrown. If it's hit to whoever, you're hoping maybe you have time to turn a double play or something. But as soon as it was hit, he took a drop step. You knew it wasn't going to be a double play. So then I just turned into a first baseman there, just make sure you get one out. And, luckily my foot stayed down enough. But that was a little hairy for a couple seconds when they replayed it. But got the out, moved on, and kept the game going.
Well, that was my question for you, is what was going through your mind while the entire World Series, your ability to potentially repeat the entire season was in a replay machine?
Yeah, I was pretty sure, the throw beat him and everything. Didn't realize my foot came off at all.
Wow.
For, that half inch or whatever. So I was pretty confident they replayed it. We get 2 replays in the postseason. So, usually that first one they just kind of throw out there is like a maybe, maybe not. Who cares? We still have the second replay. So I kind of thought that's what was going on. And then it plays on the Jumbotron and, I see my foot come off and it's like, oh crap, here we go. Like, I can't imagine ending our season this way. It's a little bit of panic. But I was pretty confident after seeing the replay that he was going to be out. The call was going to stand.
And did you notice so much conversation, Will, about Isaiah Kiner-Falefa's secondary lead not being as large as he wished, or the Blue Jays subsequently wished it could have been? Did you notice pre-pitch from Yamamoto that he was kind of even with Max Muncy at the time? Did you notice any of that prior to the pitch?
Yeah, I noticed. Muncy and I are always kind of looking maybe for a back pick right there or something. Usually that's with just a man on third else on, but he's got to stay close in case of the back pick on line drive. He can't get more than Muncy. That's just typical baseball 101 on that. But yeah, that's just a tough spot, to lose, to come up, a couple inches short. But I don't think he did anything wrong. That's just how it had to be. Okay, because that's been a large conversation. And then as if you thought maybe your heart rate couldn't get any faster than the next pitch. Yep. Right? Or the next batter. Yeah. Clement, Ernie, putting that ball out there, Pages and Kike running into each other. That was a little hairy for a second, too. So what was, again, you don't have the best seat in the house for that, but what was your perspective from behind home plate for this moment that we have on the screen right here? Will? Yeah, I think Kike, I don't know if he was playing a little shallower than normal because taking away a little blue pit, make him burn you over your head. But I thought it was Kike's ball the whole way, just where it was hit. I'm kind of watching Kike. And I wasn't too confident that first couple of seconds that he was going to get all the way back there. Then Pages just kind of came out of nowhere and took it from him. And there's the picture, and it was, what a play by Andy. That was, neat. If the ball drops at all, it's game over. Well, let's talk about coming out of nowhere, Will, because he did come out of nowhere in the middle of the inning, out of the dugout. And, again, you performed well, extremely well, terrifically well, from the 2-hole after being moved around in the lineup with Mookie being dropped down from 2 to 3 and then 3 to 4, and then you're inserted in the 2-hole from which you hit the ultimately game-winning home run. Rojas is in at second. The reason why there's even a bottom of the ninth is because he homers. Can you walk me through what it's like to be managed by Dave Roberts, Will? Yeah, he's great. He's the only manager I've had, so I've been pretty lucky. And no one really to compare him to him, but we get along great. We like to golf together and all that. But yeah, Doc, it seems like the last 2 years he's pulled all the right strings. Knowing what the team needs, knowing how, when we're at our best and who's out there. Last year it was where the bullpen going and leaning into that. This year it was leaning into starters, bringing starters out of the bullpen. Lining guys up correctly, getting Miggy in there for game 6 and 7, just moving guys around and, kind of playing who's hot, who's not a little bit, but just sticking with us. He's always had our back. He's always trusting us. He's always, letting us know that he trusts us to just go out there, play our best baseball. And, I think that instills a lot of confidence in us and, gives us a little bit of a slight edge to, win these tight ball games.
Yeah. And did I see him running the bases prior to Game 6 in Toronto, keeping you loose?
Yeah.
Like, what was that?
Him and Heisman were racing.
What was that?
Him and Kimmy were racing the bases before Game 6, and I think Doc. I don't think he's gonna be doing that anymore.
Because he face planted, right? Did he
face planted? Oh yeah, everybody caught on camera. He comes in, he's covered in dirt, asking for Tylenol, Advil, and all that stuff. I don't know if he hurt his hammy, but yeah, he was kind of in a rough spot for a minute or two.
Hey, I'm the last guy to have fun at anybody running, So I just thought it was, again, you're down 3-2 after that amazing Game 3 win. The next two go to the Blue Jays, and you show up in Toronto. He's running bases and having a good time, and I'm wondering if that's a lead that you guys all collectively took from him.
Yeah, I think it's just keeping it light, reminding them, everybody just kind of relax, not be so uptight. Not forcing it. Obviously, that's kind of a, spur of the moment decision. He wasn't forcing it, so it's genuine. It's genuine. Follow me. We're just going to keep it relaxed and not be all uptight and go out tomorrow and play good baseball and try to win a ball game.
And it also helps, Will Smith. I have them written down here just so I can remember the names. Shohei Ohtani. Helps to have, by the way, I haven't written them down, Yamamoto and Glasnow and Snell to be able to go out and throw those guys in relief and starting and things of that nature. How do you as a catcher keep your, wits about you, knowing that these guys are all different types of pitchers and catching them all in the crucible of games 6 and 7? Will, is there a process that you can lay out there for us?
Yeah, there's for sure a process. It kind of starts with talking with Pryor, talking with, Danny Lehman and Connor McGinnis and Bardo, the pitching coaches. Just talking through hitters, talking through, our pitcher strengths, Shohei's strengths or Glasnow, what he's doing well, what he's not been doing well. Whoever it is, whoever, is going to be out there for us, kind of going through the plan and going through their hitters and all that. Then going, getting in the game and just kind of reading the game, reading, reacting, but it's just a constant conversation with those guys, with the pitchers obviously as well. What needs to be done, what we're seeing the hitters are doing, how they're adjusting, how do we need to adjust? It's just this chess game that keeps going on, and it's fun and it's intense. It's definitely a mental grind as well. Thinking through, however many outs we had to get, and facing, such a good lineup so many times, getting Vlad Guerrero out. I mean, basically 8 games with the 18 getting game, 30 something times. Like trying to figure out how to do that is just one thing in its own, but they got, 9, 12 guys on their bench that are just as tough. So it's just having those conversations and talking through things and being on the same page, and then just, instilling that conviction in the pitcher you got on the mound.
I mean, there's so many things I want to ask you about in the few minutes I have left with you here. The most impressive thing you've ever seen Shohei Ohtani do on a field, off it?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I mean, he started taking BP. When was it? Like before the World Series or before the NLCS?
Mm-hmm.
We made him hit in the last group by himself just because no one wanted to hit with him and just be completely, embarrassed because he's hitting balls out of the stadium and, we're giving it our all and getting it 5 rows deep, 6 rows deep, and he's putting another 100 feet. It's incredible, how strong he is. Throws 100 miles an hour, just the power behind everything he does, is incredible. But, you guys don't get to see it, but we get to see, the work he puts in, in the weight room, his dedication to his craft is, second to none. And, he's been doing that since he was a kid. You can just see that's his work ethic and that's just who he is. And, we're just lucky to have him and, have a guy as special and as talented as him, but also a guy that works hard too.
He makes it all look easy, Will. He really does.
Yeah, he really does. It's
does he sweat?
It's annoying at times, but year 2 now with him, you're just kind of like, all right, he's with us. Let him go do his thing, and you can't get too annoyed about that.
Have you ever seen him sweat? Does he sweat? Does he have sweat glands?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure. Because again, the only the equivalent I make is, a couple of times I covered the U.S. Open in tennis. It's Roger Federer, where he never sweat or didn't look like it. He made everything, the most difficult, look simple, and had an air of invincibility. And being a teammate of his must be glorious. It just must be. Yeah. At the end of the day.
Pretty much. We're glad he's with us for sure.
I'm sure. And then, Kershaw, my goodness, I haven't even brought up a first ballot Hall of Famer. What was that moment like in Game 3? Game on the line. He's never pitched relief like this before, right?
Yeah.
And what do you say to Clayton Kershaw on the mound as he's getting ready to pitch? What is the exchange with somebody like him in a moment like this?
I don't even remember. He's such a competitor. He's such he's not emotional, but he's fiery out there. When he's in game mode and pitching, he's a little bit hard to talk to, especially on the mound. He doesn't want to be talking on the mound very much. In between innings is great, but yeah, that's just, he comes out, hey, we gotta get an out. Do your thing, compete, just make pitches, one pitch at a time, do your thing, trust it. That's basically what you say. I don't remember what I said exactly, but that's what you say. But yeah, he got that big out, bases loaded. I feel like it was like a 9 or 10 pitch at bat. I don't even remember, but the guy rolls over and yeah, huge out there in the 12th, 13th inning, whatever it was.
Yeah. And then I didn't even bring up Justin Dean with the ball that hits in the crack of the fence line down in the warning track. This is the wildest baseball series I've ever seen, Will.
Yeah, it had everything this series. It was special. It was fun to be a part of.
Including a walk-off, well, not walk-off, a game-winning World Series. Is hitting a game-winning Game 7 extra inning home run. Again, I know it wasn't home and it wasn't walk-off. Is that the stuff you dreamt about in Kentucky growing up?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think every kid, dreams of that, getting the last strikeout on the mound or, hitting a walk-off homer or, a base hit or whatever. That's what you play in the backyard with your friends. You're constantly playing those situations and, just having fun with it. And it's kind of what I did. Just got a pitch to hit. You got to get a swing off. And, yeah, I got over the wall and put us up and then got to go 3 more outs the next inning.
All right. So you're sitting in your car. Why? Explain why you're sitting in your car, Will. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm in the car. I got 2 little girls, and they're playing inside. So I was just stepping out, a little peace and quiet, or else they'd be jumping in this screen for sure.
How old are they? What are their names?
3 and 1. Charlotte's 3 and Layton's 1.
Okay. So one day, Charlotte and Lincoln, is that the names you mentioned?
Layton.
Layton. Okay.
Girls.
Charlotte and Layton. Okay. One day, you'll be able to look at them and say, Dad's got all these rings. Right now you got 3. And I caught Shohei Ohtani and Clayton Kershaw and World Series MVP and Yamamoto. He's only just getting started. Do you sit back and think, again, I know you're just 30. Do you sit back and think about what's gone on? What's happening to you, Will?
Yeah, it's definitely crazy, take a step back, reflect, kind of reflect on my whole career so far. And also it's exciting to see, I've got 8 more years with the Dodgers what we can do. It's a special organization. Just grateful for, their trust in me to have you back there for 8 more years. It's just amazing. But yeah, I think, when it's all said and done, who knows, but just being able to, remember hanging out with the guys in a clubhouse, just working through things, grinding together, traveling together, getting close to their families. It's just a special, special group each and every year, and we just really enjoy it.
I couldn't be more happy for you, man. So is there a retirement coordinator on the Dodgers to talk about the 401k plans and stuff like that? Or is that just
right? With all the deferred money and everything?
You sock it away. Is that Do they have an actual IRA executive in Chavez Ravine to talk to?
I don't know yet. I still got a while till then. Take that up like Kirsch or whoever else.
Okay, very good. Well, we're all happy to have you here, Will. Hopefully we can get you another time. We could talk about other sports, other things. I guess to show our happiness, do we do this? Do we all do this thing? Is that it? Is that how we're supposed to celebrate?
Something like that.
Is this true that was you're mocking Freddie Freeman? Is that what you're doing?
Well, it started with our strength coach Travis Smith. He loves a good hip lock in the weight room. We're always doing hip locks for the last couple of years.
Okay.
So it's actually a workout, and then I don't know how it became our hit celebration, double celebration, but now it's just kind of a joke. Honestly, it's just a joke. See who does a good one or bad one. Okay. Who remembers or doesn't remember to do it after they get a base hit. So that's kind of all it is.
Oh, I thought it was Freddie Freeman was dancing at a wedding and you're making fun of his moves or something like that.
Well, he's got the doubles, the Freddie double. I don't know, whatever that is, the wave in the hands.
Okay.
Yeah, that was at our Dodger Gala a couple of years ago.
Okay.
He was just dancing to, I don't remember who was playing, but
so yeah, doesn't have an actual name. There's no name for it.
It's just the Freddie. I don't know. Something like that.
All right. Because we have Rich Eisen Show Consulting around here, Will. This is our area of expertise. We could come up with a name for it. The Freddie. Okay. Or on behalf of Yankee fans and Red Sox fans and Mets fans, annoying. We could just call it annoying. Will.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But we have to. Our teams have to stop it if we're annoyed by it. That's the main issue. You know.
Exactly.
Listen. Enjoy time with your family. Greatly appreciate this. Thank you for on behalf of every baseball fan everywhere, participating in one of the greatest sporting series ever in any sport. It was awesome, man, and I hope the sport grows off of it for sure.
Yep. Well, thank you. Thank you for having me on here.
Anytime. You know, we're local whenever you are. So thanks for the time, Will. You be well.
Sounds good, guys.
That's Will Smith, everybody. 3-time World Series champion who's confirmed that your hat is annoying.
Oh.
And
but he did accept me as a fan.
Well, why wouldn't he?
Exactly.
The more the merrier.
If I'm Will, I'm getting a clause in my contract. Wasn't it like 6 straight years of Will Smith has won a World Series? So
in baseball, and also if you Google Will Smith contract, Will Smith of the San Jose Sharks popped up. I mean, there's a lot of Smiths named Will.
I'd be like, if you want to guarantee yourself a World Series, you got to have me on the squad.
NFL Network researcher, Bill Smith.
That's right, Bill Smith.
He just calls himself Bill.
That's right.
The great Bill Smith, who looks just like 2010 Joe Flacco. Not 2025 Joe Flacco. All right, we take a break. 844-204-RICH, number to dial. Mike Florio beckons.
This is the best of the Rich Eisen Show on ESPN Radio.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. A jacuzzi bath system fits in your existing tub space. It's a no-mess installation with an amazing style selection, factory-certified installers, and a limited lifetime warranty. Call 800-717-4599. That's 800-717-4599 right now and get 50% off installations with no interest and no payments for 12 months. Replace that old bathtub today with a walk-in shower for a safer bathing experience. If you have lived in your home for over 15 years, it's time to remodel your bathroom. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-717-4599. That's 800-717-4599. 800-717-4599.
ESPN Radio 93.5. How you doing? I'm Curtis Allen. Thanks for spending some of your day with us. This is where we do the drive, myself and Evan Stone. Make sure you are safe. Tapman's Towing offering free rides tonight, getting you home. 217-328-2424. That is the number for Tapman's Towing. Again, they're giving free rides home tonight for New Year's Eve. They want to get you home safe. 217-328-2424. Just a tip to be safe tonight from Tapman's Towing and the drive.
It's great when hard work and experience are recognized. Hi, this is Ryan Heiser, President and CEO of Fisher National Bank. I am thrilled to share that Fisher National has been ranked 7th in the nation as a top lender in mortgage loans among banks with asset size of $300 million to $1 billion by our National Banking Association. This recognition is a testament to our lending team's dedication and expertise. After all, better banking experiences start with local people and local decision making. If you're in the market for a new home or considering refinancing your existing home, let our team at Fisher National Bank earn your business and trust. We offer competitive rates with low closing costs, and we locally service almost all of our loans. Come see us with all your home mortgage needs and experience the top-notch service that has earned us national recognition. Learn more at fishernational.com or stop by one of our branches today.
Fisher National Bank, exceptional communities, exceptional people. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Jets Pizza and Stevie J Broadcasting want to send you to the next Fighting Illini home basketball game. Text Illini to 217-359-2255 and you could be on your way to State Farm Center. Stop by Jets Pizza at Neal and Green Street or Round Barn off Springfield and Mattis for their delicious Detroit-style pizza. Text Illini to 217-359-2255 to win tickets from Jets Pizza and Stevie J Broadcasting.
When feeling better can't wait, visit Christie Clinic Convenient Care. Convenient locations, hours to fit your schedule, and no appointment necessary. Plus, you don't have to be a Christie Clinic patient. Receive health care when and where you need it with Christie Clinic Convenient Care. Christie Clinic accepts Health Alliance and most other major insurance plans. Visit ChristieClinic.com to find the convenient care closest to you.
From computer systems to brakes and tires too, at PDR, fixing cars is what they do. Remember, when you turn the key and the car won't run, call 367-9481 or use their dedicated text-only line at 383-0619. Additional information including repair quotes and online scheduling requests available from the website at pdrauto.com. Remember, they are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
You know, with like Lands Inc., we specialize in, we've got an amazing HVAC department that takes care of your furnace, you know, your heat system, air conditioning, they do
pumps,
that.
yeah.
And for us in Underground, we take care of all your pipes that come into your home, leave your home, and work around your home to keep it dry, you know, your drainage system, sump pumps, things like that. And exactly what you said, if you don't know, you know, a couple decades ago, it was more like, oh, something broke, go fix it, repair it, no big deal. Well, now with the technology, we have cameras, like you said, that we can come in on these orange comfort clubs and we can camera your sewer lines underneath your house and check them out just to make sure they're fine. If there's something wrong with it, we can show you right then. You know, truth is in seeing it. Yeah. We show it to you, and then you can plan as a homeowner for making those repairs or dealing with that issue later on. If it's an immediate need, at least you're not caught off surprise.
That sewer camera inspection with a proper clean out. I was just learning more at landsinc.com.
Game. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Ohio State and Miami grabbed the college football playoff spotlight tonight with their quarterfinals matchup at the Cotton Bowl in Arlington, Texas, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio and ESPN. First CFP game for Buckeyes quarterback Julian Sayin. It is the second CFP start for Hurricanes QB Carson Beck, who's pretty used to high-stakes games.
It's normal to an extent, and I know that's a little weird to say that it's normal to always be on the stage, but, you know, I've been in these games and moments, even, you know, not playing, being on the sideline, but being around teams that have been here. And then, obviously, it feels a little bit better to be the quarterback, to lead a team to this position. And
Miami quarterback Carson Beck. One day after it was reported Patriots receiver Stephon Diggs is facing a felony charge of strangulation and misdemeanor charge of assault from an alleged incident involving his private chef. There's news that New England defensive tackle Christian Barmore is facing a misdemeanor charge of assault and battery on an ex-girlfriend stemming from an alleged incident in August. No change to the playing status for either player, as both incidents are under review of the NFL's personal conduct policy.
Hey, it's Courtney Cronin. Coming up on Thursday on Unsportsmanlike. As we head into the new year, we'll tell you what our boldest predictions are for 2026. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
This is the best of the Rich Eisen Show on ESPN Radio.
And we're back on ESPN Radio, presented by Progressive Insurance. We just saw a clip from the pilot episode of Pluribus on Apple TV. The creator, the writer, the director, the four-time Emmy Award winner Vince Gilligan is back here on the show to talk about it. It is great to see you, man.
Great seeing you, Rich. It's just 11 years, huh? Is that how long it's been?
It was 11 years ago last month that you left the writer's room of your latest show, Better Call Saul, to join us.
Wow.
To talk about how Breaking Bad ended and with a plan for Better Call Saul. And now here we are talking about your latest in Pluribus. I guess the ultimate first question is like, where the hell did this idea come from?
Always the question, and I never have a great answer. I don't know where the hell these ideas come from. Any of them. You just sort of like the way the folks on Pluribus, they receive, signals from each other, telepathically. You got to be kind of a radio head yourself as a writer. You got to be receptive to ideas, I guess. And then sometimes I think it's kind of like working a jigsaw puzzle in your mind, and you're kind of, putting this piece together, that piece together. Well, this doesn't fit. Well, that doesn't fit together. And then, but if you do it long enough, eventually the ideas the image starts to form. And I don't know where the heck it came from. But
again, the idea for our radio audience that just returned as well is that there is essentially a code for an RNA virus, would you say? Or
yeah, it's a message from space, from 600 light years away, from aliens that we know nothing about, we may well never meet, but it is a message in a bottle sent out into the universe to spread this happiness, this form of happiness and contentment and satisfaction, and it takes hold in the world, and suddenly everybody is very chill.
Except for 11 people, including the protagonist, who is a miserable person, right? Or at least miserable in terms of disposition, would you say?
She's unhappy. Yeah, she is.
Played by Ray Seahorn.
The wonderful Ray Seahorn. She plays a character named Carol Sturka. And Carol is a romantasy author. She is pretty successful.
Yes.
But she's like a glass half empty type person. She's always looking for reasons to explain her misery or her just general unhappiness. And she's very sarcastic. I kind of root for her. I have heard a lot in doing interviews and whatnot. Why is she so unhappy? And like, well, why is anybody unhappy? Versus why is anybody happy? Sometimes I just think maybe it's just chemicals in our brains, and then we look for reasons to explain it.
Well, again, just to continue this conversation about characters and character development and just the general gist of a lot of the shows that you've put together, Vince, it is about how do people react to life-altering events, whether it's cancer for Walter White or obviously Saul Goodman and what happened in the backstory that you tell about Better Call Saul, about his childhood, about his relationship with his brother, about what happens if you are somebody on the planet who is a glass half empty person, and then an event occurs where your wife is dead because she's one of the humans that cannot receive biologically this new way of living as a hive, and then the idea that yes, the people who are, would you say, afflicted by what comes in, or affected?
Affected. I think they both work. You know what I really kind of hope for with this show is that people tell me whether this is a good thing or not. I always say when you watch The Walking Dead or The Last of Us, two really good shows, but you watch those shows and you know you don't want to be a zombie. You know you don't want to be affected with this mushroom infection on The Last of Us. But on this show, I'd love for people to argue, the fans to argue. She's fighting something she shouldn't fight on one side, or other people saying, no, are you crazy? She's 100% right. The human individuality is at stake. So.
I'm on that side through the first three episodes, where she's fighting for free will.
Yeah.
Vince.
Yes, absolutely.
She's fighting for would we like to have a planet where there's no crime? Where they're in episode 3 turning off lights because they don't have to worry about crime after dark, or people aren't living where they were living because they're now, I guess we're going to see over the next few weeks, how do people live collectively in this hive? How do they come out of nowhere to reconstitute an entire supermarket that's been stripped bare of all items, but they put it back in because Ray's character asks for it. And then she begins to realize the power that she does as an individual have against the collective, because she can now ask of them what she wants, even if it is dangerous. Like, that's where we're at right now. I am curious to see where this all goes.
I'm so glad, man. Boy, you've watched this thing closely. God bless you.
Well, I watch everything you do, Vince.
Well, and I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah,
and I have my own free will. I can watch whatever I want.
That's true. You do.
You know, but it is part and parcel again of what you do. Like, you're putting people in situations. How will you react? How will you react if you're Walter White and you're given a terminal, diagnosis? But do you start making blue meth, or you don't? You know what I mean? Like, with that opportunity. If you're Saul Goodman, do you start doing what you did, or do you not? And I think we're seeing with what her character is going to be going through right now here as well, right?
Absolutely true. And I got to tell you, working with Ray is such a dream. I wrote this part. I don't know where the heck the idea came from, but I know when I started cooking it up, I thought.
By the way, great phrase.
Good cooking, yes. No pun intended.
Okay, got it. I caught it.
Yeah. I thought, man, I gotta create something. Ray Seahorn was on our last show, Better Call Saul.
Yes, sir.
She was fantastic in it. It started off. It was a character we didn't know. Peter Gould and I, Peter co-created the show. We didn't know if her character was going to amount to anything. And then we wind up loving the actor so much, Ray, who plays the character, that the show kind of becomes a two-hander. That was never the intention from day one. She made herself indispensable, and I said to myself, I got to put Ray in. I got to create something for her, because I don't want her, disappearing on me. Because smart people are going to snap her up, put her in something else.
So you did create this character with her in mind when you're writing Pluribus.
When I started noodling on this thing, it was a male protagonist, because I'm a guy. That's usually the way I think, male protagonist. And then I thought, why does it have to be a guy? Why can't it be a woman? Why can't it be Ray? So that's kind of how that came together.
All right, and a few other questions on this one as well is, do you know, again, it's been picked up for season 2.
Yeah.
Do you know how this ends already?
No,
where this goes, how it goes?
We have, my writers and I, we have some ideas about where it might go, and probably at this point we have more ideas than we did for Breaking Bad and for Better Call Saul.
No kidding.
Yeah, we do. But the caveat is always, you got to be ready to discard a perfectly good idea for a better idea. So if something better comes along, we'll go a different way. But we've got some ideas of where we think we want to go with it.
I mean, it's set in Albuquerque, which is where obviously Better Call Saul and when Breaking Bad were. Is there any possibility that we run into any survivors of those shows in Pluribus, where they're part of the hive? That you just was a little wink and a nod.
That's a good question. We might have some cameos. I don't know if it's a little. We might have a few Easter eggs to throw your way, but I actually was resistant about setting it in Albuquerque. Sure. I was not at all resistant about shooting in Albuquerque. The reason we're shooting there on this show is I love my crew so much. I've been working with some of these folks for 20 years, and at the end of the day, I thought these people are like family. I love them. They crawl over broken glass for Ray. Everybody on our crew loves her. So let's shoot it in Albuquerque. But I kind of resisted because I thought it would confuse people.
No doubt. You want it to be known as, hey, this is something completely different. It's something separate.
Yeah.
But that said, I mean, you do have a fan base that is used to Easter eggs, that is used to what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so when I heard it was set in Albuquerque, I'm like, okay. But then when I heard it was about, I'm like, well, that's definitely not anything like this. And it's interesting that you would say that you have more ideas for this now, Vince Gilligan here on the Rich Eisen Show, for this Pluribus show than you did at this point for Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, because those shows had vast numbers of characters who you would follow their pursuits and their storylines and how they would intertwine and how that would blow the minds of some of your viewers, you know. This is just such a monolithic single character that I would think you'd be more boxed in as a creator.
You know, something's always boxing you in. When Peter and I were doing Better Call Saul, we thought, oh, this is going to be the easiest thing we've ever done because we know where he winds up. And then we got into it. Ignorance was bliss, because then we get into it and we said, oh my God, how do we get him from where he is now to where he ends up? And also the audience knows he can't die during the show because they know he has to survive to Breaking Bad, because Better Call Saul is a prelude to Breaking Bad. So there's always some reason that makes it hard. It's never easy.
Right. But you have essentially mapped out just enough into season 2 where you think this can go. And obviously, as creators, you can go in any other direction in which you wish.
Yeah.
Where at some point she will either be part of the Hive, or she will begin to battle back and win the battle, or the battle will occur, and that's enough of am I going through the beats here?
Man, we should get you in the writer's room.
Hey,
you
man.
got this thing figured out.
Vince Gilligan here on the Rich Eisen Show. Come back anytime. Obviously, as this series matriculates, I'll have more questions.
I'm looking forward to our 20th anniversary. I want to come back on the day 9 years from now. We got to figure that out.
That's right. Fantastic. Everybody, check out Pluribus on Apple TV.
This is the best of the Rich Eisen Show on ESPN Radio.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
ESPN 93.5, I'm Curtis Allen. This is where we normally do the drive. Evan and I, we're celebrating the holiday tonight with our family and friends, and we are going to be safe, and we want you to be safe as well. Not just us, but our friends at Tapman's Towing. That is why Tapman's Towing is offering free rides tonight to get you home for New Year's Eve. If you need a ride home tonight, call Tapman's Towing, 217-328-2424. That's 217-328-2424. Get home safely and talk with us in 2026.
3, 2, 1, Happy New Year! It's that time of year. Dick Van Dyke Appliance World's end-of-year blowout sale.
Hey, it's Paul Reekin from Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Paul, I need a deal on a refrigerator.
28 cubic foot French doors starting at $14.99.
Wow, that's a stocking stuffer right there.
Christmas is over, but leave those stockings up, friend.
Paul, I need to ring in the new year with a good range at a low, low price.
Name brand gas and electric ranges starting at $5.49.
That warms me up all over.
I can see that.
Paul, I need a washer. Mine went out. I'm up a creek and didn't get very much Christmas money this year.
Uh-oh, naughty list guy. Washer starting at $4.79 plus a matching dryer, same price at $4.79.
Just need the washer. I said Santa wasn't kind this year.
My bad, naughty guy.
How about a dishwasher?
Stainless steel interior dishwashers starting at $4.49.
Mind blown.
It's the Dick Van Dyke Appliance World end-of-year blowout sale going on now.
Wow. You're great, Tim. You're great to have on. We love what you do. You're very talented as a manager taking care of Gelfrix and Dedicated Diesel, but I'm impressed how much energy you have for all that.
We're just honored to be able to wear the GFT logo and do that, and the people at Dedicated Diesel do a great job. Everybody needs to get over there and get those awesome, like new used mowers bought up and get out of there so we have room for some new ones. 217-328-0562, give you a great deal and get those things going.
And where's that located?
But that's at 1313 Triumph Drive in Urbana. We've got a wonderful crew, and at the end of the year here, I just want to thank all of our drivers, customers, and employees. We have the best guy to work for in Gelfrix. You all and your families have Happy New Year, and I'll talk to you next year.
Thank you, Tim. Tim Onstop, Pitmaster Extraordinaire, Gelfrix Trucking, and Dedicated Diesel.
Let your local Farmers Insurance agent Michael Rumsey put his experience to work for you. Michael Rumsey proudly serves Champaign County families and businesses and is ready to review your existing policies or provide a no-obligation quote today. Call Michael Rumsey at 217-363-3030 to get smarter about your insurance. Again, that's Michael Rumsey at 217-363-3030. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Football season has kicked in, and you can bet like a pro with the world's largest sportsbook at your fingertips. Circus Sports Illinois. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high app limits, low holds, exceptional customer service, and no bet fees ever. Other books may charge you just to get on the field, but with Circus Sports, every play is yours to call. Start betting like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circusports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Rich Eisen Show.
Kurt Kreischer back on the program. Why are we calling it permission to party?
Certain times you get a permission to party, and it's always when the person that doesn't drink says, I don't know, do you want to do a specialty cocktail tonight? And you're like, I just got permission to party. That energy is the reason I party, and the reason I'll never stop partying. We turned on the hot tub last night, and Leanne goes, should we open a bottle of rosé? Immediately I go, oh, we're getting lit tonight. Like, that energy is what I'm looking forward to.
The Rich Eisen Show, from noon to 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN Plus, and on Disney Plus.
Sports are always in season on ESPN. Always rivalry season.
It's that type of rivalry.
Always top 10 season.
We got some top plays for you, though. Here goes. Top plays, 10-1.
Let's get to your top plays. And always.
Did you see that?
Season. Download the ESPN app and get over 47,000 live events all year long. All of ESPN, all in one place. ESPN, always in season.
Football Sunday on ESPN Radio. The Miami Dolphins faced the New England Patriots, who clinched the AFC's 1 seed with a win, and our Broncos lost.
Nate takes the snap, runs to the near sideline, at the 12, avoids pressure, now runs back toward the far sideline, to the 10, 5, and into the end zone. Drake May making something out of nothing.
The Dolphins at the Patriots. Coverage begins Sunday at 4 Eastern, with kickoff at 4:25 Eastern on ESPN Radio. This is the best of the Rich Eisen Show on ESPN Radio.
Jake Lacey talking about All Her Fault. Our radio audience just returned. ESPN Radio, presented by Progressive Insurance. All Her Fault is available for streaming exclusively on Peacock, 8-episode series, and it's based on a novel. And the source material is based on a real life incident.
I believe so. I mean, I know the novel part is true, right, and I would hate to be incorrect in saying this was based on a true event. But the novel and our show are like, there's similarities, there's differences. I read the book in order to have like some more textural understanding, maybe, or to fill in parts that we weren't going to have time to address in the show. But ultimately, you're like reading that script as kind of the bedrock of what you're building off of. At no point was I on set like, in chapter 6, actually this happens. I don't know if we want to address that.
I should do it this way. Plus, what a great cast, too. Jay Ellis, who we saw in the clip, he's been here as well. Same thing with Michael Pena. Will tell you he's a better golfer than he is an actor, whatever.
He would spend so much time on set. He'd be like, oh, my knee's all messed up because of the way that I swing. I can't seem to. You're about to roll, dude. Like,
I'm not lying then, right? I mean,
no. He flew in. I hadn't met him yet. We've been there for 24 hours or whatever. Yeah. We're both jet lagged as hell. And I get there. I go, you done a fitting or whatever? He goes, no, I just came from the golf course. Like, he flew in and they drove him to play 18 holes. And then he's like, it helps me get over the jet lag. It's like, okay, dude.
What?
I love it.
What?
I love it. He's fully committed.
What an excuse that. I got to use
He's an
that.
animal.
Fantastic. Okay, yeah, that's great. I'm working so hard and I'm so jet lagged. I got to play golf.
Oh, and I gotta. Look, I'd love to come straight home. I'd love to, but I'll be useless to you.
Dakota Fanning in this
Wonderful.
as well. I mean, my goodness. And Sarah Snook, All Her Fault, available now for streaming exclusively on Peacock, 8-episode series. Let's talk about kids who are found. Drake May.
Oh, dude.
Right? By the way, I love your reaction.
Stoked.
Dude. Okay.
So stoked.
So now you're born in Massachusetts, raised in Vermont.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And so Patriot fan since birth?
Yeah, full on. Now we live in Connecticut. Like,
well, that's the Mason-Dixon line of New York, Boston sports, brother.
I lived in Brooklyn for a long time. I'd be repping Sox hats everywhere. NYPD guys giving me dirty looks on the platform. Just not a lot of love there.
Right.
And now we're in Connecticut, and, like my kids play hockey. They're little. They're like 6 and 8. They're just getting going.
Okay.
And it's like Rangers junior, like, learn to play. And all the kids are out there, and, like, Rangers get up.
You all right with that?
And they were like, we can get them a jersey. And I was like, no, we're going to keep the Bruins ones on. That's all right. Thanks. So, like, it's just 2 little, like, Bruins kids out there, skating around in a sea of, like, red and blue.
Yeah.
But at least we're far enough out in Connecticut now that people are like, all right, like, it's technically New England.
Right. So you're east of Hartford? Is that where you are?
No, we're in Weston.
Okay, I know where you
if
are.
anyone wants the address,
No. I'm just because I spent 7 years at ESPN, so I know exactly. Again, like
20 minutes north of Westport.
Right.
Yeah.
So you need to. If you're west, you're closer to New York, so that's why.
It's understandable. I get why there's a lot of Yankees fans out there.
Okay.
And I do feel like there's. I mean, people, rightfully so, should be a little embarrassed to be Giants and Jets fans, so I don't see a lot of that being repped where we are, you know what I mean?
Just
but like,
let your freak flag fly, Jake Lacey. Okay, no, but you have every right to feel really good about what's happening.
It's unbelievable.
I just,
it's
by the way,
cool.
Chris, I love
great.
that reaction here where I just mentioned Drake May, and you're like, dude, dude.
Oh, somebody was calling him Drake Maybe for the first couple of games, and I was like, watch it, dude. Just watch what happens.
Drake Maybe. I hadn't heard that one.
Yeah. Cousin Sal came up with Drake Maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's not a bad one. I like that.
Well, since he came up with cousin Drake Maybe, he's won 8 in a row.
Yeah, he's going on a tear.
It's worked out.
Enjoy those words, my man. Just dig in.
Out.
And he's gotten he's in sights of a record that Dan Marino set for a certain age to win as many games in a row with a passer rating as great as it's been.
That's right.
So he's tracking down something that Marino did in 1984, which is
I was looking at like what the next 3 games are.
Well,
they're winnable games.
Well, Cincinnati.
Jake,
we're moving on to Cincinnati.
We're moving on to Cincinnati.
And
Burrow's taking reps, right? He's got some snaps going.
He's taking reps. Yeah. I think he's playing.
You think he's going?
So Zach Taylor just said that there's no distinction. They're going to wait as long as possible. They have till 4 o'clock tomorrow to remove him and put him on the active list. But he's questionable right now.
Whatever.
All right.
You know, let me ask you this question: how do you think it's going, right, in New England right now when somebody says to Vrabel, they won't say if they're playing Burrow or not? Do you think he's losing sleep about getting ready for Flacco instead?
I mean, Joe Cool. That's
Yeah. Burrow coming, but this is okay. Let's linger on your Pats here for a minute.
Sure.
They look terrific, and they are set.
That's so exciting.
They are 100% set. So, did you go to Foxborough when there were just the old, metal seats and stuff like that, or that was still
no? That by the time I got to go to a game, it was cleaned up.
Okay,
but like I used to go to Fenway as a kid, and there was still, I guess it's still there, but like. The urinals are just a trough.
It's like ancient Rome.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Right.
And like, that was before you could sit on the monster and things like that. Or like, before TD Garden, just like some of that old kind of scuzzy Boston sports.
Fleet Center.
I was born in 86. So like, as a kid, got the tail end of being like a losing region and then the insanity of the Celtics, the Bruins, the Pats, like winning in the same year.
Parades everywhere, man.
Yeah.
Are you an obnoxious Patriots fan, New England fan? Be honest, Jake.
No,
be honest here.
I don't know that.
Are you a masshole or not?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not that far gone. But like, we had this discussion in the house, like. My wife is from Eastern PA and then grew up in Jacksonville, after she was 10. So, like, The Jaguars are also like kicking around in our house a little bit.
Okay.
But we're, boys are born in New York and we're living there, and she was like, let them like support whatever team they want. No. And I was like, no. They can be whatever they want in this world. They can do whatever they want, love whoever they love. I don't care. But like, it's a non-negotiable. This is a Boston house. Like, I don't know what to tell you. They're Sox fans. Like, there's just no other way this is going to work out on. Like, genuinely, whoever they want to be, whoever they are, let's support it. But like, this is what's happening. And it's worked out. You know what I mean?
So I married somebody from New England. Okay. Boston proper.
Oh yeah.
And so when our firstborn, who's now 17, we got all sorts of stuff to the house, like Red Sox onesies, Celtics bibs, Patriots,
love it,
socks, all that sort of stuff. And I made because I knew I had one preemptory here because I'm a New Yorker.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
One preemptory. I could remove one from the jury box.
Got it.
And I chose the Red Sox, but that wasn't happening.
You go, I just can't.
So my younger son, because my oldest son is not that much into sports.
Okay.
He's more of an actor. So keep your head on the swivel there.
Yeah. Come on down.
So, All Her Fault, available now for streaming exclusively on Peacock, 8-episode series. Check it out as soon as you can. Anytime you're around, you want to come back here, let's hang all
Not
day.
Scheduled, just...
Anytime. Just knock on the door.
Just pop in. You guys hanging?
Hollywood Tower, then here.
Sunset Tower.
Sunset Tower, yeah. Let's get a table for...
Yeah, we'll have Dimitri sit you.
Oh, the best. Came out of retirement.
He did indeed.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll explain the story when we come back. Right here on the Rich Eisen Show, Jake Lacey.
All right,
everybody.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Come back, we'll talk about Joe Burrow and his readiness.
This is the best of the Rich Eisen Show on ESPN Radio. Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Chiefs are done. Mahomes, unfortunately, is injured for a while now. Lamar is probably not going to make the playoffs. Josh Allen's going to be right in there. We have the Broncos, Patriots, Jaguars, Steelers, Chargers, Bills, Texans. That's your AFC playoff picture right now, at least from the AFC perspective. Do we see a changing of the guard right now? And if so, from the Chiefs to what team?
Unsportsmanlike.
Are you ready to make a difference for the environment while helping the visually impaired at the same time? Then donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind today by calling 1-800-983-6530. Every donated vehicle will either be properly recycled in an eco-friendly manner or given a new life through reuse. Donating your vehicle is easy. Simply call 1-800-983-6530 and Heritage for the Blind will do the rest. They'll even arrange for your vehicle to be picked up at no cost to you. And for a limited time, when you donate your car, you'll receive a $200 restaurant voucher and a 2-night, 3-day hotel stay at one of 50 locations. Call 1-800-983-6530 right now to schedule your vehicle donation and make a positive impact on the environment while helping others. Heritage for the Blind, where every car donation counts and every person makes a difference. Call 1-800-983-6530 now. This advertisement is paid for by Heritage for the Blind.
The College Football Playoff Quarterfinals. First on New Year's Eve, Miami faces Ohio State. Then on New Year's Day, it's Oregon versus Texas Tech.
Touchdown, Oregon!
Followed by Alabama, Indiana.
The losers take the lead!
Then Ole Miss faces Georgia. The College Football Playoff Quarterfinals on ESPN Radio and on ESPN.
ABC Hockey Saturday is back with a classic rivalry. And it may be a new year, but it's the same vintage Crosby leading the Penguins.
He scores! Sends a kid!
Against Captain Larkin and the Red Wings.
What a shot! Dylan Larkin!
ABC Hockey Saturday in Hockeytown.
Should be a heck of a Saturday.
ABC Hockey Saturday, presented by Honda. Penguins, Red Wings, Saturday at noon Eastern on ABC and the ESPN app.
ESPN Radio Extra Point with Courtney Cronin.
I think the Houston Texans can go win a Super Bowl from that wild card spot. I do not think it's Buffalo. For as wide open as it is. And Josh Allen has his best shot to get there because Patrick Mahomes is not in his way. That defense is not the Super Bowl caliber defense that it has once been. They are banged up on the offensive line. They've had a lot of different moving parts. He's had to be Superman times 2 multiple times this year just to get to 11-5. But I think of any of those teams, it would be Houston. Could you see a team from the wild card round as a wild card team getting to the AFC Championship and then to the Super Bowl?
I'm closer to that Texans take than I was before this weekend. Mm-hmm. But I also think we saw the best C.J. Stroud his rookie season. To me, you're going to have not just a great defense, but can you convince me that C.J. Stroud can outduel some of the offenses that he's going to face?
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want to boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.